Speaking of scoring, Jamal Crawford, NBA Sixth Man of the Year 3 times, played for 9 teams over 20 seasons, I believe, scored over 50 points coming off the bench, and maybe didn't have an assist in that game. Is that right? Did Jamal score 51 or something, and then he had no assists?
I think he had 2 assists.
Oh, 2 assists.
But, you know,
No.
I had 5 assists.
No, you didn't. You didn't have 5?
I did. Go look it up, Dan.
Okay, look up the box score. All right. Well, welcome, Jamal. We're talking scoring here. You know, now it's 60 a night, not a big deal. Even 70 doesn't feel like a big deal. Tell us why we've had so much individual scoring and so much team scoring.
Well, I think it's a combination of things. Obviously, I think talent from 1 to 12 is up across the board, but I also think the defender's a little bit handicapped. You can't really touch a person. You can't, you know, it's freedom of movement. With everybody wants to see the skills of the players, but the points right now are just, it's unbelievable, though. I think the power of the three-point shot and the fact that everybody can shoot the three-point shot as far as being allowed to. It used to be some restraint, you know, like it's reserved for guys who can really shoot it. Now you have role players taking 14, 15 threes in the game, and that helps scoring as well.
Is somebody going to get to 90?
No, I hope not. Come on, Dan. But it's tough. I mean, you see 70 just getting thrown up. 70 is like the new 50.
But is it bad? Is it bad for the game that we're seeing 70, 73, and we're not really blinking at it?
I think it's bad for the game that it's happening this often.
Okay.
If it was, you know, an anomaly and happened once a year, it would be something to really be revered. Now it's happening so often, you don't know when it's going to happen. I'm not sure how good that is for the game to happen this often.
Well, Luka had 73 and took 33 shots. Normally, if you're going to be putting up those kind of points, you're going to be putting up a lot more shots than that.
And you know what? I told my son, I said, how many points did Luka score tonight? He said 73. I said, but did you notice he had 14 assists as well? And he's like, oh, I said, because scores, whenever you can score like that, and then you can pass like that, you put the defense in the trick bag. It's not like, I said, if he only had 5 assists, he may have had 55 points. But the fact that he can score and pass, he's manipulating the game, and he's doing it at the highest level right now.
So you think Kobe's 81 is safe?
I think it's safe. I hope it's safe. Because that 81 was against a zone, it was against 3 defenders. Go back and look at the spacing and how tough those makes were on the 81-point night. And yeah, we need to appreciate that for sure.
It always felt like he had tougher shots. He made tougher shots than anybody I remember. Is that fair? I mean, I don't know if I'm overrating or exaggerating here, but it felt like Kobe, they were tough makes.
They were tough makes for everybody but Kobe. He did them. He practiced, you know, that way. I heard one story. One of his trainers told me one time Kobe was working out and he wanted the trainer to foul him, and the trainer's fouling him. He's like, no, hit me harder. And where the guy was just basically draped all over him, and Kobe was still making shots. So he practiced that way. So for him, it was easy.
It feels like you got your Allen Iverson shirt on. Is Iverson
Yes.
sort of taken over where Kobe was with younger players, where that it wasn't their Jordan? I mean, he's their Jordan. It's not, Kobe, I think, while he was still alive, and then Allen Iverson. Is that true?
Yeah, I think those guys in particular, especially for my generation, they really penetrated everything. They penetrated culture. They penetrated, you know, the game, the way they played. They did it in a rebellious, fearless type of way. And I think the guys that are really chasing being fearless, you know, they come from the Kobe Iverson tree for sure.
Yeah, Iverson, though, man, he just kept coming at you.
Didn't he, DP? He just did not stop. He was relentless. He didn't care what he was shooting. He didn't care the odds were stacked against him. When they beat the Lakers and they were, you know, the one Laker lost, the Lakers had that whole playoff run. He was just so fearless, and he made you believe he had a chance. Even if you look at the team, he shouldn't have had a chance.
What do you have, Paulie?
Yeah, April 9th, 2019. Jamal, was that your last game? Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks?
In an official arena, yes, it was. It was Dirk's party, but I tried to make it my party as well.
Yeah, you had 51 and 5 assists. I confused you with Jimmer Fredette, who had 0 points and 0 assists that game. But yeah, 51 points. 18 of 30 shooting.
That was the only 50-point game I lost. And like I said, there was no way we were walking out there with a win in Dirk's last home game, but that was the only one. I always, you know, tell my son that you can score a lot, but if you can get assists, as well. It makes the game scoring becomes easier. So that's one of the things I'm hammering home to him right now.
He's Jamal Crawford, Turner Sports NBA analyst, and won the 6th Man of the Year 3 times. Did you ever say, I'm the 6th man, haven't I earned the starting role with any of these teams?
You know what, Dan? When I was starting, we weren't winning much, and I didn't like that feeling. I'm like, you know what? I won in high school. I won in college. The games I played, I won as a kid. I'll do whatever it takes. And the perfect storm came for me to get traded right in the middle of my career to a team that already had a starting unit assembled. So I just owned the 6th man. I didn't know it would take on a life of its own like it has now. To see everybody, every gym I go to in the country, the 6th man, or that's really, really cool because that was not the plan. I did not grow up saying I wanted to be a 6th man, that's for sure.
Okay, but do we celebrate the 6th man now? It doesn't seem like that's as big a deal today's NBA.
We don't. We don't. And I think it's tough because we'll see a guy like Lou Williams in the past. Obviously, Manu and Kobe made All-Star game as a 6th man. Kobe was voted in. But we'll see. We ask a guy to sacrifice and come off the bench. And when he's sacrificing, if you're a 6th man, you're probably going to sacrifice money, playing time, endorsements, everything that comes with it. But then we don't reward him when it's that time if he's playing at that level. Lou Williams, a few years back, was averaging 20 points off the bench. He could have absolutely made the All-Star game if he was just starting, but some coaches viewed him as an off-the-bench guy, even though they treated him as a starter. Dan, I saw a crazy stat. I think 4th all-time in fourth quarter points in history since they've been tracking. As a 6th man, up there with Kobe, LeBron, Dirk, and I forgot the last game. Maybe Paulie could look it up. But yeah, as a 6th man, basically.
I'm wondering, as we have that minimum, you got to play in at least 65 games.
Mm-hmm.
That could cost Joel Embiid another MVP because he missed the game in Denver and then missed the game in Portland. What do you think of that minimum number of games that you have to play to be eligible for postseason awards?
Well, I like what they're trying to do, obviously, but Embiid's having an MVP type season. There's no doubt. So if he's one game short of the minimum with the season he's had and the season his team is having, that's a tough pill to swallow. But the way he's playing when he is playing is dominant. Like, he's absolutely dominant. You can make an argument that could be the third one because he thought he should have had it the first year, even though I'm a huge, huge Joker fan as well.
Well, Joker probably, I think it was
gave away last year.
Yeah, I think it was held against him that he didn't have postseason success prior to. So he'd won 2 MVPs, and the voters probably went, we can't give him a three-peat. He hasn't done anything in the postseason. Then wins the NBA title. Now I think voters look at Joker differently, whereas we're waiting for Embiid. It's like Lamar Jackson. Like, okay, MVP, you can't even get to a championship. And I think that might be held against Embiid this year and the number of games that he's going to miss.
And speaking of Joker's greatness, last year he could have won MVP. I felt like some criticism in the media, he just took his foot off the gas and said, you know what, brother, no problem. I'll go win the finals. I'll lead the stats in points, assists, rebounds. I'll do it in such a dominant fashion. I don't even care. Then I'll go ride my horses. So Joker is a treat and a gift as well.
Yeah, I don't know if it matters to him. I think he's competitive, but I don't know if it's as important as it is to us that we think it is. I was also wondering about Doc Rivers took over for the Bucks. They lost last night in his debut. He said, I wouldn't wish this job on anybody. Why? Nobody's holding a gun to Doc's head. He had a great job in the media. Why did he take it?
No. Doc's a coach, though. If you know Doc, and I'm sure you do, he would, watching film all hours of the night, wouldn't sleep. Like, it's in his blood to coach. And he's great at media as well. So obviously, we all enjoy listening to him call games, but to his heart of heart, he's a coach and not a bad, situation to walk into when you have 2 top 75 players of all time.
Yeah, but he's making it seem like it's, he's walking into Orlando.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, he's walking into a great situation, that's for sure. But he has to make the situation work. There's no doubt about it. I got asked last night, has the struggles he's had in the playoffs with the Clippers and Philly and so on and so forth, is that going to follow him? And I said it might follow him, not that it's always fair, but it might follow him until, if he can get this right and win a championship in Milwaukee, I think it kind of, qualms everything in the past.
How much does a coach matter?
I think a coach matters, Dan. It's no doubt. If you look at the really successful teams, if you look at Phil Jackson with Chicago and the Lakers, you look at, Spo in Miami. You look at Pat Riley. You look at the greats, Pop, obviously, in the Spurs. Kerr with the Warriors. Coaching matters, and it's not always in X's and O's. It's bringing people together. It's accountability. It's different things and knowing the pulse of your team. So all those different things go into it.
Do you think I could have won a title with the Bulls as a coach?
DP, I think you could have won a title with the Bulls as a coach.
That's the correct answer.
I believe that.
You think I could have won a title with Shaq and Kobe?
I believe you could have.
Yeah, okay.
But could you have won a three-peat?
No.
With both those guys? See, that's the coach.
They would have gotten tired of me. That probably would have happened. But, that eventually, I think Magic talked about after a while, Pat Riley starts to wear on you. Like you can only be around that for such, there's a finite amount of time it feels like you can put up with each other.
And I think that's a fact. I think that, like, even with the Clippers, that was the best team I was on. I was there 5 years. The first year, the second year, the jokes are funny. We've heard the stories are brand new. They're fresh, right? The third and fourth year, you're starting to finish the stories for them. You're like, okay, we got to get this. We got to win some games, man. We got to try to win a championship, right? And that's all of us. I'm saying players, coaches, everything. Like, it definitely wears on you.
Wait, who was your coach?
Well, I had a couple of them. I had Vinny and I had Doc at the time as well.
Okay, so you had heard all their stories.
Yeah, by the end, I definitely heard the stories. I definitely did.
A man who put up 51 points and 5 assists. And is that right, Paulie?
Confirmed.
Yeah. Yes, Marvin.
With 4 different teams?
What do you mean?
Yes, Marvin. Yes, Marvin. Go ahead, speak on it, Marvin.
So Jamal Crawford, the pride of Seattle, Washington, scored 50 points with 4 different teams.
Okay.
He was a bucket.
Yeah.
He's the Jadakiss of the NBA.
Jadakiss?
Yeah, the rapper.
Yep. There you go, Marvin.
Yep. Like, he might not be, quote unquote, a Hall of Fame or whatever, but you don't want to guard him. Like, you don't want to rap against Jadakiss, and you don't want to guard Jamal.
All of you don't want to guard him.
You do not want to get in a cipher with me on a song. No. You do not want to get on the same song.
Good to talk to you again, Jamal. Thank you.
You as well. Thank you, DP. Appreciate it.
Jamal Crawford. Always great to have him on. 6th man of the year 3 times. Scored over 50 points for 4 teams in a game. Right, Marv?
That is right.
Yeah. Why didn't you tell me that before we had him on? And then
because I looked when Paul was looking at it, and I looked at it too. I was like, 4 teams? I thought he maybe did it a couple times with the Knicks.
Yeah. Little heads up, little research here. Could have helped me. Yeah.
Better late than never.
Thank you, Marv.